Hello FlossTube, it's Claire here from Sewn by Claire, and this is my second FlossTube. The first one was a very interesting exercise in how I look, how I sound, and just how you perceive yourself in video as opposed to how you think you come across in real life. So that was really interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed putting it together, so this is my second one, and we'll hopefully carry on with these. It was an interesting exercise as well, because when you're talking in real life with somebody, you can either correct yourself very quickly, or you can also remember things and you're not held accountable. Whereas once you've recorded it on video and then it's seen by a few hundred people, then suddenly everything you say is down there as gospel. So just wanted to say that there are actually a couple of people close to me who do so. It's not that I forgot them, but I think I was meaning immediate family, like my mother and my daughters. But one, I want to give a special shout out to my cousin Dawn, who is a bit more like a sister really, so I shouldn't have ignored the fact that she sews. And actually she and I got together again. We grew up as children together, living locally. She's actually the daughter of my mum's brother, who has since passed. But she and I have got together when I was living in the UK before I moved over to Spain. And I think that because I don't see her all the time, I think I forgot, but we are in touch regularly. And when I go over to the UK, then I do see Dawn, and we do sew together if we can do. And indeed we completed a headboard project this trip over, which went really well, so I was quite pleased with that, and nice to be working together. And we had a spot of lunch and did all the gossipy things that cousins do when they get together. So apologies Dawn, and apologies to everybody else as well, because obviously this is all new to me, and just trying to remember everything on the spot. I try not to work from a script, so it can be quite natural and organic, but obviously that can seem a bit chaotic. So anyway, just to put that record straight before we carry on. Now, the other thing that I spoke about last time as well, pride comes before a fall, they say, is that I was wearing last time a square-necked top, which was the wanted t-shirt from Vanessa Pouzet, and I was talking about the peach version I was going to make. Well, that turned into a bit of a disaster. So I have got it here to show you, just to show that not everything that I do works out okay, and that's okay. I don't mind that things don't always go according to plan. So I have the top down here. I cut it out, and I was unfortunately trying to speed sew, which is never a good thing to do. And I wanted to try and get it sorted. So this is the top at the moment as it is. Now what you probably can't see on there is that I have taken a really nice chunk out of it with my overlocker. Look, I was trying to overlock this neckline on. The neckline should be folded like that, and then should be neatly sewn. Neatly, that's the word that I was needing, but didn't have at the time. And so if you can see, there's rather a distinct slant going on this neckline. Now, I might just recut this original piece. As you can see, I had fully attached the neckline very badly. And so what I've done is I've unpicked that on the overlocking, which is always fun. And I've just started now to think about how I can put it right. So whereas in the last video I said I'd be wearing this top, as I said, pride comes before a fall, and I'm clearly not. So I'm still hoping to get it right, but that was a lesson to self, just to take my time, not try to speed sew, and just to relax and enjoy the process a little more. So I am putting that right. I don't like to waste fabric if I can help it, so I am going to rectify this, and one day you will see me wearing it. So that's going to go on the unfinished pile at the moment and just have a little bit of time out. But as I say, I haven't said yet, I'm actually back in Spain, folks. So I'm back in Spain again, and I'm going to sort that out. The other thing, well, the most important thing really, is I have a granddaughter. Oh my goodness, she is amazing. She is the cutest, most adorable thing. So she arrived middle of August, just a few days later than planned. My daughter did fabulously well with her labour and had an excellent midwife. I only know the midwife's name was Kim, but she absolutely got my daughter through this in the best way possible. Gas and air and a bit of pethidine, but mainly gas and air towards the later stages, and she just did amazingly. So Clementine was born at see, this is the thing with video, I was supposed to remember. It's either 20 past or 12:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning, and she weighed in at £7 14 ounces. She had a big tuft of dark hair, taken after her dad, who's got nice thick hair. And mother and baby are doing fabulously well. So Clementine, I think, will be 5 weeks on Saturday, and she is just the sweetest thing. She sleeps a lot. My daughter's feeding her herself. She's doing really well with that. She's persevered because it's uncomfortable at first, but she's done really, really well. So proud of her. And she has now got through that stage now and has nailed it. So absolutely perfect. Both her and her husband have absolutely adjusted so well to being parents, and her husband is very hands-on with nappy time, bath time. Obviously he can't feed just yet unless my daughter expresses, but he does when he can, and to see them together as a little family is just adorable. So my heart is completely smitten. So you know, it was a whirlwind visit over 9 weeks, if it can be a whirlwind over 9 weeks. But I was there for the later stages of pregnancy, and was pleased to be there to help my daughter through that. Hopefully she feels I was helping and not interfering. And then of course there was a month's paternity leave for my son-in-law, and then I was able to help for the final week before then I come over to Spain again. So I'm over here for another 4 weeks, back home again. This is my permanent home, Spain is, and then I pop back to the UK because I've got a big family that I love very much in the UK, and I'm very lucky that my husband's very understanding, and we make plans to travel back regularly. His family isn't quite so big, so it's not quite as crucial to him. He has got a son in the UK, obviously, who he loves to see, but we do try and get back regularly. So yeah, Clementine is just adorable. So yeah, there'll be some sewing for her in the future as we go through. But yeah, just wanted to update you on that. I'll put a little picture of her little feet in the window. I had a friend who knitted some lovely little booties for her. My daughter has asked that I don't put pictures on social media, so I need to respect her privacy, but we have agreed that we could put the little one of her little feet up so that you could see those in these little booties, because they're really cute. So you'll just have to take my word for it that she's lovely, but hopefully that's okay with you all, and if you've got children and grandchildren, and you understand the reasons why people don't always want to have their children's pictures shared over Facebook. So apologies for that, but she is lovely. So what I thought to do today, because I actually haven't done that much stitching, I thought today I would talk through some of the items that I've got in my home that I've finished already, and hopefully that will be of interest to you, and you can see the sorts of projects that I've done in the past, and really where my sewing journey has been. It's certainly not finished, because I did pick up quite a lot of fabric in the UK, which was very fortunate to do, and it was my birthday while I was over, so I had a bit of birthday money to spend, and so I picked up a few other little projects that I'll share with you as time goes on. Apologies if I speak too fast. That was the other thing that I noticed on the video as well. I need to take a breath, take it steady, and not give you all a headache. So thank you for watching, and we'll carry on now with the rest of the thing. Hopefully it'll have a bit of structure to it and you'll enjoy watching. So first things first, top I'm wearing today is self-made, and this one is the Adrienne Blouse, can't say that, Adrienne Blouse by the Friday Pattern Company. It has lovely big sleeves that come into an elasticated section on the top of the shoulder, and it's the same front and back. It's just got a scoop neck. It's fitted through the bust line, and then it just sits on the top of the hips really, or a little bit lower if you want it to. Really comfortable. I thought it looked quite complicated really to make, to attach all of this, but most of it's done on the overlocker, so it isn't that difficult to do. And as I say, I've enjoyed wearing this one. I've got this one, and I've got another one in a teal green kind of colour in like a mock suede, but again I really enjoy wearing these. They're lovely. It's quite low at the back as well, if you can see there, so that's quite nice when it's sort of like over here it's still quite warm in Spain, so I've gone from sort of like getting towards autumn in the UK when I've been there, and then popped over here again, and all the summer dresses are back out again, so it has been beautiful. We have had a little bit of rain, but not much. So again, I only arrived back on Monday, and today is Thursday, so again, just acclimatising back to the heat. It's quite humid, so again, if you live in the warmer climates, then you'll know. But I just popped this one on today just to show you as a bit of a difference, being as the peach one didn't work out, and I thought that we'd have a look at this one because I'm quite pleased with this one, and I like the colour. It's super with jeans, and it's a nice pattern, so look that one up. I'll pop the details down below, and then you can have a look, and I'll probably have popped a picture up of the actual front of the pattern so you can see the style lines a bit easier as well. So let's move on then. So the first thing I wanted to do was talk about some fully finished objects that I'd got, so FFOs, if you're into the terminology. And the very first, really one of the very first cross-stitch patterns that I ever did was quite a big one. It came free in Prima Magazine, which is a magazine that was out late 80s, early 90s in the UK, and with it came a big fold-out pattern in the middle with all of your patterns and other designs that were in the magazine sort of came out. And I saw this one and I really loved it. So I've got things just down to the side, so excuse me, just leaning down to the shades. I'm hoping that, sorry, not trying to crash everything. So this one's been hanging up in my sewing room, and I know you're going to get some glare, but hopefully I can twist this so it's not too bad. So this one, I'm just going to have a little bit of a look on that one first for you. So it's pansies in a basket, and then we've got trailing pansies from the top. We've got a lovely scroll border to it, and then the alphabet as well, which have got little letters in it. And I've just initialed that one at the end, so CAC. So my I've been married twice now, this is my second marriage, and my maiden name and my first married name initials were the same. So this was actually done in 1991, and my initial CAC are on there as well. I really enjoyed doing this one. It was the first one that I'd done. I'm surprised that I picked something so difficult straight up or complicated, but that's kind of how I do things. I like to try and get stuck in, and if something's a bit too easy, then it doesn't feel like it's challenging enough. This one's been framed. It has faded. I had it up in a previous house, and that's faded, but that's now in my sewing room as well. So I really enjoyed doing this one. I can't remember the name of the pattern, but it was around about the end of 1990 to the start of 1991 when I did this. So that's quite a few years ago, isn't it, really? 30 years ago. But again, really enjoyed doing that. So, oh, you can see the it's just tape's coming off the back, but I just need to stick that back down again. But it's just been the way it's been framed. So let me just pop that one down to the side. So after doing that, I didn't really do a lot of cross stitch for quite a long time actually, and it's only in the latter years that I've started doing a little bit more and certainly getting into it. And then FlossTube obviously does encourage us all to have a go at doing a bit more. So the next project that I wanted to show you was this one, and this is one, and I do like hearts. This one here, oh, sorry, you're getting a reflection of bedroom, don't apologise for that, and for window. That's a bit better, isn't it? So this one is called Celtic Heart, and this one is by Modern Folk Embroidery. Now they did it in a different colour, but I've got lots of this red thread that I got for another project, and I really liked it. So I really liked I like symmetry, so I like the symmetrical aspect to it, and I just really liked that pattern. It's quite small. I think it's 1/1 on Evenweave, and I think this was the first pattern that I did on Evenweave. The other one is done Aida. Yeah, I think that was 2/1 on Aida. But yeah, this one is 1/1, so that's a really pretty design. Looks really striking as well, and I think you could do it in different colours. You could even do the crown in gold. You could do the heart in a different colour, and you could actually do the others. I've self-framed this. It's just a frame from IKEA that I've just taken off, and I've just put my name and the year. That was done in spring 2020. So I really enjoyed doing that one. And again, I've just self-framed it, which is quite nice and easy to do. So I've put details in the bottom, so if anybody was interested in that one. The next one then that I did was this one. which is probably one that you probably all know, by Laurie Holt. Oops. And that's called Eat, Sleep, Stitch, Repeat. And that one is by Laurie Holt, as I said. I didn't use this cord for colours. I did another one for my friend. She gifted me some sewing flossers for my birthday last year, and I did hers in the cord for colours, and it looked really nice. But for me, I wanted something a little bit more muted, so as I say, I did this one. There is an error on it. I think the T here is one stitch out to the right, to the left, whichever, the wrong way anyway. So there's one stitch too much of a gap between these two. But I think once it's up on the wall, you don't really notice it, and that one just sums me up completely. And I just really like the simplicity of it and the modern style of it. So as I say, I popped that one up and did that one. So that's where I am with those fully finished items of cross stitch at the moment. I kind of thought there were more, but I can't sort of place them at the moment. So if I come across any more, then I'll let you know. Sometimes they're lurking, aren't they, in cupboards and out of the way. So we'll see what happens if I can find any more. But those are the ones that I finished at the moment. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the things that I've got finished, but I've not fully finished them yet. So they're my UFOs, I think that would be called. So I have two of those. Now this one, actually, I fell in love with the pattern of this one as soon as I saw it. It is cherry trees. Now it isn't, for those who are eagle-eyed, it isn't cross-stitch. So I'll just leave that one up for you for a second. It's actually all French knots, if it'll focus. So it's on a grey linen background. I think there's 4 or 5 different colours of pink, and then we've got the cherry bark on there. And this one just needs framing now. I think in her she got it either in a light grey frame, sort of like that, and it looked really nice. I know that all those hundreds of knots look sort of a bit like that really, and she had it in a long frame, look really, really effective. And this one's by Jo Butcher, sorry I didn't say that, by Jo Butcher, who has a website, jobutcher.co.uk, and she has lots of embroidery kits, and I bought this one as a kit. So the linen was already printed with dots where you needed to put the French knots, and I think I went off pieced a little bit with those, but as you can imagine it didn't really matter too much. But the outline of the trunks of the trees, and then the ground, the trees, the blossoms on the floor here are all marked for you to be able to do that. But I found that really relaxing actually. The repetitive nature of the French knots was really easy to do. I think I did hoop this up to be, I had a frame. She sells a wooden frame that you can stick drawing pins into the side of. And so I did that. I overlocked the edge of the fabric just to make it so it didn't fray off. And then I need to just find a frame for this now. A couple of weeks before I went off to the UK this time, I did spot one in a charity shop actually. It was a dark wood, and it had got a leaf motif on like a border around the edge that was carved into the wood. And at the time I thought I should have had the dimensions of this with me. So that's going to be note to self, is when I've got something that's finished like this that needs a frame, is to actually measure it and to decide what size frame I want for it, and just pop it in my purse or in notes on my phone, so that I can then use that, because I don't know if you're like me, but I've often got a tape measure in my bag with me, so I do tend to use that quite a lot, and that's usually handy to have. So if I had the measurements of this finished piece with me, I'd have been able to check it, and the idea was that I would have sanded it down and then chalk painted it just to match. I've got a grey chalk paint that might have looked quite nice against this. If not, I'd have got a different colour. And that would have then just, I think it was only €3 as well for the frame. So that is on my list of things to do. I am going to pop back to the shop and just see, because it was quite an old frame, so I know it wouldn't have appealed to everybody, but I just thought with that leaf pattern around the outside, if it could work, it would look really nice. So I'm going to have a look back at that one. So as I say, this is a pattern called Cherry Trees by Jo Butcher. She does do one as well in winter trees with white trees that looks like snow. Sorry, I've got tickly nose. That looks like snow, and I think I've seen one she does with like summer. I could actually quite fancy doing the 4 seasons. So this will be spring with the blossom, the winter with the snow, there's another one with greens and then little pops of red in for the cherries, and also one in autumn colours as well. I think the autumn colours one was the one that she hadn't got. I did contact her and say, oh, if you did that, I'd be really interested, but I know I'm only one person who was interested in possibly doing that. But I don't think it would be too difficult to make up, and perhaps I could do like a very small lazy daisy stitch to simulate leaves, and that would look quite nice, I'd have thought. So I'll see, because the kit wasn't cheap. I think it was about £25 for the linen and the floss, and the linen and the floss, yeah. And then obviously postage from the UK, but I could hopefully pack it, get it posted over to the UK, and then I'll just pick it up while I'm there and bring it back again if I can. So, but I really like that one. I think it's really pretty. So yeah, I've got to just get that one framed up. The next one is one that I actually was a kit that I sent over to my other daughter, the one without the baby, and to do while she was in lockdown. And she often has just a bit of time where she fancies doing something but she doesn't quite know what. And so I thought that I'd try and encourage her along a little bit with the stitching maybe. And so I sent across a kit for this one. And this is from a company called Riverdrift Needleworks, and it's on an Etsy shop. I think this one's called Hoop, Cat and Kittens, and it is cats and kittens, as you can see, in these lovely colours. And it's supposed to be framed in an embroidery hoop, but I'm thinking I might flat frame it with a circular mount into a square frame, which I think would look really nice as well. And she very kindly gifted it back to me. So my daughter stitched this, didn't have anywhere to display it in her house, so she thought that I might like it back again, and I did. So that was a lovely surprise to get back, and I'm going to enjoy getting that one framed. So that's the second one that I need to do. So hopefully FlossTube's going to keep me accountable and make sure that I do actually move on and get these things framed and get them up on my walls, because they're always lovely to display, and it's sort of been hanging from a corner on a pin board at the moment, and that's not really the best way to display it. So that's it for that kind of stitching at the moment. I'm going to just move on now to something else that I did during lockdown, which might have been something that you guys wanted to try or not, I don't know, but I had a go at paint by numbers. I'm not an artist. I certainly have no artistic ability. I don't think I'm good at copying things. If it's in fabric or whatever, I'll have a good go at that, but certainly not usually with paint and paintbrush, other than a bit of chalk painting here and there. But I saw a design. I fancied my same daughter has just done the Kittens cross stitch. She did one for her bedroom, and it is amazing. It's in beautiful. It's an autumn scene, nighttime autumn scene of two people walking along a road in a city with an umbrella, and it's in blues and like peacock blues and dark blues and oranges and yellows and mustards. So that's really pretty. And so anyway, it inspired me to have a go, and she ordered me a kit for my birthday last year. So I think it was Christmas, might have been Christmas last year. And so this was the one that I completed. So this one is Peonies. Looks quite dramatic, doesn't it? And I thought, again, that would be quite a nice thing. See, again, I've gone for a pinks, and I wouldn't have said I was a pinky girl, as I said in the last video, but something inside me is drawn to pinks and greens, I think. So if I just pull this a little bit further forward so you can see that it's a little bit rough in places. It was very easy to do and to follow. Basically, your framed canvas comes with all the numbers on it, so it's a grey pattern that's printed onto the canvas, and you're given little pots of paint and the paintbrushes, and then you choose all number one is whatever label is on paint colour number one. You find all the areas in your picture that has number one on and paint that colour in. Same with number 20, whatever colour that is, you then colour all the ones in with that. And again, I think it's quite effective really. I think it looks better from a distance than it does close up. And I think in one or two places, especially where there's, trying to find a place now, but where there's very, very pale colours, sort of like here, sometimes I think you can possibly see a little bit of the number through. So you just have to go back and just, if you can still see the number, you can remember what it is, but you are given like a master plan as well, and just dot over those paints again just to colour that in. But if you were thinking of having a go, I think this kit was ordered from Czechoslovakia, I think, something strange like that. But they're all different types of different scenes. But yeah, that was really engrossing to do. You have to just be careful of your shoulders, I think, because you tended to be hunched over. So it is better if you can sort of prop it up against something to be using it more upright as you're painting. But again, I really enjoyed doing that, and certainly through lockdown, through spending some time on my own, it was actually really enjoyable. So I thought I'd show you anyway, so that if anybody had been having any thoughts about having a go, then just to order one and just have a look and see. Follow the reviews. I followed ones with lots of reviews, so that I could tell that my money wasn't going to disappear into a black hole somewhere. But it didn't. It arrived very nice and safely, and that was all good. So again, that's something else that's finished, but I probably need to either think about how I'm going to mount it, or how I'm going to too many as well, sorry. Okay, I need to work on this. But how I can finish it so that it looks nice, and it'll actually go up on the wall somewhere, rather than just prop behind a door at the moment. So again, it'll be nice to have that up, and if I ever do a tour of my sewing room, then you'll be able to hopefully see it up at that point there. So the next thing I was going to talk about was, I think I'm jumping around a bit, apologies. I'll leave my work in progress at the end. I've got some quilts that I was going to show you that I've finished. I really like quilting. I just find it so expensive. So I've kind of settled on the idea that I'll do more lap size quilts, because I think they're really good for presents. I haven't yet made a quilt for Clementine, so I do need to think about that at some stage. I've got several ideas going through my head, but I haven't finalised on any one yet, and my daughter said it doesn't matter yet when it comes, because she won't know as yet, so don't need to worry too much. But I want to make her a few dresses and things, so we'll see, but one will be forthcoming. So I thought I'd show you some of my quilts and my quilting journey. So the first one is out of this book here, which is Pretty Patchwork Quilts by Cyndi Walker, and the one that I chose to do was called Ginger Snap, which is quite fitting really as we're going into autumn, I suppose, and it was this one. Now, I don't know about you guys, but trying to go into a shop and choose the fabrics and get them all to coordinate was really challenging. I know you can buy fabric lines, but I didn't, at that stage, the fabric shop that I went into, the quilting shop I went into, which was Quilt Essential in Cromford in Derbyshire, didn't have all of the designers' ranges together. They were all sorted by colour. So it was a bit tricky to make sure you've actually got enough fabric for all of these, that you've got enough of the different greens. And now I know it says in the materials, there's like half a yard of green tonal fabric for appliqué stems, you know, and a third of a yard of green polka dot fabric for appliqué leaves. So you're trying to follow that, but it can be quite tricky. Anyway, I had a go, and I thought, well, if I don't expect too much, then hopefully I won't be disappointed if it doesn't work out quite right, but I'll have a go. But you know what? I really love it. I did change the colours slightly, and I'll hold some of this one up for you to see. It is quite well loved, this one, as it is well used. So this is, I suppose they're all blocks, the 4 blocks are the same. But yeah, that's the main one, and I can sort of bring it in to show you. So I did a little bit of hand quilting around the edge of the leaves and the stems and the buds, and then it's got this leaf trim on the side. And I think to my eye anyway, which is not that experienced, but I'm happy with it. I put a fleece backing on it, so it's nice and fluffy, and you can see a little bit of the hand quilting coming through on the back there. Just do big stitch quilting. I'm not very technical in my quilting as yet, but I just enjoy the therapeutic and rhythmic nature of it. So yeah, that's one of my first quilts that I actually had a go at doing. There's lots of pretty quilts in that book actually, the Pretty Patchwork Quilts, and I do want to have a go at doing some more, but just at the moment I haven't managed to move those. I'm a bit like not a magpie, I don't know what it would be, something that just head spinning around all the different projects, but when I settle on something, then I'll go for it. So I really enjoyed doing that one. So that was one of my first ones. I didn't label it, so I can't tell you when I did it, but I think that it was around about 4 years ago, and as I say, it just sits in our lounge now, on the back of the sofa, and we use it just for when we're watching TV, certainly in the UK more so. But you do get some cold nights here when the winter comes in Spain, so we do use it then when we just put over your lap, and it just gives you just that little bit of comfort that you just need sometimes. Then I decided again to jump in, like I tend to do, and I found a designer called Zelda Lawrence Curran, and she designs quilts under the company name, designer name, Modern Welsh Quilts, and she's Welsh herself, Welsh heritage, and her family has a long history of quilting, but quilting with plain fabric. So in her world, there's no pattern allowed, but obviously people can interpret her patterns as they wish. So this one's a big one, so I'm going to put a picture up in the corner for you to have a look at it when it's on the bed, because it is a biggie, it's a king size. And this one is called Lake House, and this one is by Modern Welsh Quilts. So if I kind of show you a bit at a time. Ooh, not very easy, are they, to manoeuvre? So it's got this amazing checkered centre to it, and then it spreads out into these some flying geese and some stars. Now, don't look too closely because nothing lines up quite properly, and I think that was the biggest thing that I learned from this quilt as well, was to, in the future, to be a little bit more careful, especially this was a block of the month, and I really enjoyed working that way. Just having it broken down into smaller sections made it not feel so overwhelming. Whether I do another full-size quilt like this again, I don't know. I did really enjoy the process, but there was no way I could face quilting it myself. So I did send this one away, and there's a quilter in Spain called Alfonsina, and she's hand quilted it for me. And if I turn this round, hopefully you can see, she took the blue and white theme of the colours, and she's done this, I don't know if you can see that, this tulip design. So it's floral tulips, almost like a bit like a Delft pattern, I suppose, really. I think that's where she was getting the design from. So that's been professionally long-armed, and do you know what? It was worth every single penny, because she trimmed it up for me as well. She squared it off, and then I just had to bring it back, and I machine sewed the first pass of the binding on the front side, and then turned it round to the back, and then I've just hand stitched the binding on the back. Haven't labelled this one yet. So I do need to do that, because this one is now in use on our spare bed in our guest room, which is turquoise and brown colours anyway, so turquoise and gold, sand and sky. So that was the inspiration for that, being as we are fairly close to the coast. But yeah, some of my points aren't quite right, aren't quite matching, and then some of the areas, like on this one, look, where the lines go into each other, that one matches up okay, but this one doesn't. But again, it's just for me. It's just for me and my family, and that I don't get too precious about it, because again, it's about enjoying the process as far as I'm concerned. So that's what was most important to me, and I certainly did that. So she does some amazing, stunning quilts. This one's okay in pale colours, but she also does some stunning quilts with black background and then greens and purples and blues on. So again, if you want to have a look at her, then she's on Instagram, but also she generally works from a Facebook page, and I say it's Modern Welsh Quilts. So that's a really good quilt to a good designer to have on your radar as well. Some of them she does as limited editions as well, and that one I don't think that was a limited edition, so you probably can still get that one if you wanted to go online and find that one. But that was Modern Welsh Quilts. And then this was my latest quilt that I've done. So this one, I got a charm pack of 2 too many again, sorry. A charm pack by Moda, basic grey, and the fabric line was called Stiletto. And so I contacted somebody who sells Moda fabric in the UK, Sheila, and she, Fabric Treasure Group, and she matched that up with another one by Basic Grey called Bow Tie. So I put those two collections together and made this. Now the design, the block is actually this one here, which is like that, and that's actually a disappearing nine patch block that you can probably find online somewhere. And then what I've done then is I've just stitched those all together. I mean, these little bits here, because it was supposed to be for a layer cake, I think, which would have meant these little intersecting bits here would have been a little bit bigger, and some of those have got lost in my quilting and my sewing together, but again, I'm not going to worry too much. But I think the overall effect is quite pretty. And then I've outlined each of these stars with the black DMC. I think it was a Pearl 8 hand quilting, and then I used to subscribe to Today's Quilter, and I got some quilting templates, so I used a Frixion pen to lightly mark a design down the border, and then I hand quilted that as well. And then we've got quite a dramatic black fabric on the back there. So this one just sits on the ottoman at the foot of the bed. Our bedroom is in, I'm actually in our bedroom at the moment, because it was a nice backdrop, I thought, with these muted, not copper, bronze colours, bronze, beiges, taupes. That's the kind of palette that I do like, apart from when I'm on a pink binge, but I do like that. So this fits in really nicely, and again, it's just a little bit of extra cover if I get cold at night, and or you know, just want to put something over our knees. Really enjoyed doing that one. I think this fabric here again is just another Moda. I think it's just like a linen texture, just a plain one that I got in my stash, so I don't actually know what that one was called. But again, it's a classic example of where you see a charm pack, £13, whatever it is, and this one I bought from the UK, so it is in pounds, and then you have to add another £70 or whatever to it to get your wadding and your background fabric, and another charm pack to go with it, and then your DMC thread, and just it just then spirals. But at the end of it, you've got a really nice project. So I suppose in the end it doesn't matter, and if we see something we like, then it can stay in our stash for as long as necessary, really, before we then bring it out and start to use it. The last thing that I've got to show you is a little thing that I've made for Clementine. I did make it before she was born, but I'm going to save it until she's a toddler. I think that I can just see her dragging it around behind her, and hopefully she'll enjoy that. And the idea is that as I make her some outfits, then I make her an outfit for this little character too. So it isn't Luna Lappin this time, although I have got more Luna outfits in the thing. But this one, with its long ears, is another rabbit. So I don't know what I've got about rabbits as well, but yes, this one's another little rabbit. And this one's called Blushing Bunny, and this is by a pattern by Violet Field Threads. Now they do a lot of children's wear, especially very frilly dresses as well, which are lovely. And this one's got a little cape, as you can see, but the bow comes off on the cape, and then she's got a pretty little dress underneath with this nice shoulder bow. Can't see her face properly there. So again, she's quite big. She's got a little tail on the back, little fluffy tail, and has these little pads on her front, and also a pad on her tummy. But you could put a child's name on there if you wanted to, again, which is nice. And the neckline on the dress is elasticated, so that you can get that on and off easily. She was a real sweet make, actually. Nice and rewarding, not difficult at all. Got little bits of thread on it, sorry. And really lovely. So I've already gone, in addition to the little cape, which is just a semicircle that was lined with a bit of ribbon on. But that was part of the pattern as well. So you get the pattern for the bunny, for the cape, and for a dress as well. So you can make that in any of your fabrics that you like. And then I had a go at doing a little bit of smocking, because again, little girl, granddaughter, might want to have a go at doing this. So this is machine smocking that I've done on the sewing machine. And all I did was just gathered very tightly this green and white gingham, and then in several rows but then in between those rows of your hand gathering, you then machine stitch whilst it's gathered, and that's what holds it in place. You can kind of see it on the back, look. So you stitch over with a decorative stitch or a straight stitch to make the lines where you've already sewn. So that worked quite nicely. I need to work out what I was doing with the back, because on this dress it was just gathered. Probably needs a sash just to cinch it in at the back and make it look a little bit nicer. But that's quite a nice little sweet dress for the. It is for Bunny. It's not for Clementine. It is for the Bunny. So that's another little one that I do. So hopefully they don't take a lot of fabric. So I'm hoping that at the end there we'll be able to pop that on, and I'll be able to cut one out, and she can have a bunny and matching outfit for her and for a little teddy that she drags around behind her by her ears. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to let me just pop this bit behind me. I'm sorry it took me so long to get round to making FlossTube number 2. I haven't talked about my works in progress. 1 second. And that's because I hadn't really done a lot on these at all. But I will just show you them again, just so for those who are coming along for the first time. So the first one I've got is my big love, which is After the Roses. And that's by Ink Circles. So I've got one whole section here done now from the centre out to the corner, and I just need to replicate that on the other 3 sides. I haven't done any of this since I've been away. I took it with me all the way to the UK. I think on Instagram I put out that I was going to have a go at stitching on it in the car while I was waiting for my mum from a hospital appointment. But I think as soon as I'd finished posting the Instagram post, I got the call to say she was ready for picking up again. So I didn't actually do a stitch on it. So I feel a bit of a fraud with that one. But the intention was there. I got it all out ready to do, took the picture, ready to stitch, and of course then got the phone call. Really enjoying this. Love the colours of this one. And hopefully now that I'm back over in Spain again for the next few weeks, then I will find some quiet time and just a bit of peace and quiet, calm down from all the excitement of the dashing around seeing all the family, and get that one done. So that one is After the Roses by Ink Circles. The other one that I said I'd started then gone a little bit disenamoured with, but hoping to pick up again, is this one. And this is the pattern, oops, hopefully I can see that without too much glare, Home Sweet Heart Home. And that's by Riverdrift Needleworks, which actually is the same company who did the kit for the kittens and cat hoop that my daughter did for me. I will pick this one up again because, again, I do love it. I think, as I said before, there's 2 colours in this border, a grey and a green supposedly. You perhaps can see just a slight difference there. But I thought it would be more of a difference, and that kind of put me off, because then it's quite difficult to know whether you're on your green or your grey. And that just knocked me off slightly. And I know I've done quite a lot for saying that I wasn't happy with it, but you know when you kind of think, it'll grow on me, I'll just keep going, it'll grow on me. So I think I've got to a point now with the quarter done where I just need to get on with it, and just get over it and get over myself and just carry on with it. And I think it's really pretty, and so hopefully, yeah, I'll get that one, get a little bit more done on that one. So that's my second work in progress. And the third one that I really fell out with is this one here. I've got a needle mind on there. Just take that off. And which is the front, which is the back. Right. Now you're going to see what's happened with this one. So this is the front of this one, and this is called The Flowering Heart, and it's by another one by Modern Folk Embroidery. Now this is on Evenweave as well. I think it's 32 count Evenweave, and this is my first project with silk, and it's, as you can probably see, it's tiny. It's 1/1. And this is a thread by Missus Sedas from Spain, who I tried and who's highly thought of in the UK. And it was my first time with silk as well. I'd hoped that this was going to go into my second bedroom, where the colours are gold and turquoise, or browny golden coloured turquoise. But then when it came through, it was more of a navy blue than the turquoise. And so again, note to self, if you're not sure at the start, you're probably not going to be sure towards the end. And I've gone wrong somewhere on it, because if you can see, I've had to frog it. Oh, let me just move that thread off. I've had to frog out the whole of this area here. It didn't match up properly, and it wasn't, I suppose I'm not confident enough just to fudge it together, and sometimes you can tell, can't you? So I had to frog all of this round here. So that's on the naughty pile for the time being. I'm hoping to get back to it, because it is a pretty design, and the variegated thread does add a dimension to it, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I will get on and get that one finished. So anyway, apologies for that, I nearly forgot those. But those are the 3 works in progress that I've got on cross stitching at the moment. There are a couple of other projects that I've got in the line, but I'm going to save those for the next one, because this video is already 45 minutes long. But I just wanted to say thank you very much for all the support, for the messages, and I'm enjoying the FlossTube process. Hopefully this video, I'm saying hopefully a lot as well, hopefully you'll enjoy this one as much as you did the last one, and you know, we can follow our journeys, and if you've got a FlossTube too, please post it down below, let me have a look and let me follow you too, and we can share our stitching journeys. It certainly holds you accountable, it certainly makes you focus on what you're working on and documenting that, which is part of the reason I wanted to do this anyway, is just to keep a note of what I've been doing and the enjoyment, and if it inspires you. I know I flit and change around different projects, but hopefully you might try a soft toy for a friend or for yourself, or you might try a bit of paint by numbers. I'm not sure I'm going to do another one anytime very soon, but maybe a bit of quilting. Maybe if you're quilting and then you like the embroidery, and perhaps have a go at doing the French knots, the cherry trees by Joe Butcher. But whatever it is that you enjoy, I hope that you get a lot of satisfaction and pleasure from your stitching, and that you'll join me again on another week, and we'll hopefully have a bit more to show you of what I've been up to, and projects in planning for going forward. So, and hopefully I get my peach top finished, because I really need to resolve the issues with that, so that I can get that into circulation ready for the autumn. But I hope all's good with you. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll see you back another time for another FlossTube. Thank you for watching.